Let's talk about the habit of prayer. That Pastor Moody sought his Heavenly Father automatically in times of need is most likely a reflection of the fact that prayer was part and parcel of his everyday life. For him, prayer was a habit, an ongoing part of all he did. He began each day in prayer and lived all throughout the day in the spirit of readiness to pray. His son William noted that during the summer, Moody typically rose about daybreak for his quiet season alone with his Bible and his God, while his mind was fresh and before the activities of the day divided his attention. William believed the tone was one of constant communion with God. Therefore, he said, it is not surprising that my father would seldom have long seasons of agonizing prayer as some have experienced, for his closeness to God was not limited to special seasons, but was a continuous and uninterrupted service. James Gray, who became the second president of Moody Bible Institute, concluded that Minister Moody's life was a life of prayer. He said, he was always in the spirit of prayer. I do not suppose there was anything in his life concerning which he did not ask God. Moody's view of God had a definite impact on the kind of relationship he enjoyed with the Lord. To Pastor Moody, God was not a mere law or abstraction. To him, God was a person who feels and thinks, a father who rules and loves and is concerned with everything which affects his children. With this conception of God, we are not surprised to find Mr. Moody leading a life of ceaseless communion with him, out of which grew a life of overcoming strength. Moody speaks of God and to God as if he were a man around the corner who could be addressed and touched like a real human friend. Cultivating this kind of prayer life requires discipline, both in terms of time and attention. It requires developing a habit of coming to God regularly and getting to know him more personally through his word. The more we are with him and the better we know him, the more intimate our relationship with him will become and the more meaningful our prayer life will be. As you consider the traits that marked Moody's prayer life, his view of God as a caring father and friend, his spontaneity, his complete trust, his full dependence, his intimate communion. Do you see where you can grow in your own prayer life? Might more diligence in prayer bring you to the point where this spiritual discipline becomes a more natural and ongoing extension of what you do? We need to discuss this necessity of prayer in our life. Moody also firmly believed in the connection between the leader's prayer life and the effectiveness of his ministry. Now, I'm going to repeat that because this is heavy. Moody believed firmly in the connection between the leader's prayer life and the effectiveness of his ministry. He observed that Jesus prayed during his baptism, before his transfiguration, before his crucifixion, and before choosing the disciples. If the Son of God himself found it desirable to pray before or during the momentous events of his life, then should we be any different? Moody went on to conclude, my friends, if we are going to do a great work for God, we must spend much time in prayer. We have got to be closeted with God. Moody also believed that a significant part of a leader's success had to do with the prayers of his people. He said, I have noticed traveling up and down the country, and after mingling with a great many ministers, that it is not the man that can preach the best that is the most successful, but the man who knows how to get his people together to pray. He said, if the man who is your minister preaches the gospel, you stand by him and you pray for him. What a help it is for a man that is preaching to have a lot of people in the pews praying for him.